What's up, everybody? Matt Nuzzo hanging out here at Reel and Waterman's Retreat with no other than Brandon Scheid. What's up?
Hi, how are you?
High fives.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Today we get to talk about the Naish Triad. So this kite has been kind of through some iterations, changes, variations, different marketing, different people. Was originally beginner kite. Nobody likes to make a beginner kite. Now has become their wave kite that's also their free ride kite. How confusing can you get? Well, we're here to break it down.
We're going to demystify.
Right. So what makes a wave kite is that it drifts well, and then it pulls consistently through the turn as it goes. So you can see this has a fuller wingtip, 3-strut, lightweight design. So for wave kiting, it does have a very nice drifty feel, very consistent power through the entire wind window. Free ride version, which we rode on the Planet Downwind the other day, super easy. We're teaching a friend. So I was riding it, Brandon was riding it, we were teaching a friend. So we had the full range of riding ability, and everyone was really loving it. Just kind of that sheet in, easy ride, easy to go. Like Devin was killing it on his first few rides, got his first few rides, and it was so great. So so tell me, in your experience, how does this kite feel?
Oh, feel is really important, because as much as we want to talk about free ride, big air, whatever, what it boils down to is, like, do you like how the kite feels? Do you like how your kite drives through the air? So a lot of work went into repositioning a few things, the wingtips, the bridle geometries, the profile, to take this kite from something that was a beginner-ish kite. The Triad was launched originally as their beginner kind of platform, to something that is certainly much more performance-oriented. Now, my favorite thing about this kite is it's extremely controllable. I like kites that turn when I want them to. I want kites that pivot when I want them to. If I pull light on the bar, I get a nice big arcing powerful turn. If I haul on the bar, I'm getting those tight pivot turns, so I can snap the kite around, shoot it over here. So in the kites in the surf, that's just a blessing, because you can put the kite wherever you want. In terms of like learning to fly a kite, you're not usually beginning on like a 9, you're usually on a 12. We don't need anything that's super slow, so having something movable, positionable is really important. The next really important thing is, how does the bar feel? Who cares how the kite feels? You feel it through the bar, right? So the feel on the bar has been overhauled to give us a very comfortable, what we call sheet and go. It's an industry term. What that means is, if we have 0 to 100, or sorry, 0 throttle, 100 throttle at the chicken loop, we're gonna pay out that throttle throughout the whole range of the chicken loop to give you a nice, smooth and consistent engagement on the bar. That is in the free ride setting. If we change the bridle setting, which we have an adaptable bridle on this kite, we can put it in a different setting. That is gonna go from 100 to 0, but the 0 is not gonna start at the top of the bar throw anymore. It's gonna start a little bit into the bar. So when we get to the top, we have nothing. On, off. We wanted a kite that was very easy to use in an overpowered surf situation. You want to be on the wave, you want to wamp that thing away, you don't want the power anymore. But we don't need that for beginners. We don't want the kite off, no steering, no nothing. You're like, oh goodness.
Such a good point. Bar feel is super key for wave riding, because it's really critical, and then bar feel is also really important for that more beginner entry level rider.
I mean, you have to learn. It's so hard to learn.
Yeah, exactly. So show me a couple of features here that are unique to this kite.
Yeah, okay, so first one that that we can talk about is, we're looking at the canopy. So let's start here. So we use our industry standard Quad-Tex canopy. It's really durable. It's almost the strongest on the market. I won't make any bold claims. It's a really good canopy. We have a couple optional seams in here that we added. This is the diagonal load seam. So this takes the wingtip loads and distributes them evenly throughout the center of the kite. It also stops for some blowout. And then we have down here a new seam that you're gonna see on Nash, which is the profile lock seam. You may see this on a lot of kites across the market. We all learned that by putting a seam across the front, not only can you keep the profile more robust and deliver a better performance kite, it also stops it from like blowing out over time. So like your kite stays good for longer. So those two seams help distribute the load evenly and give you more life in the kite. The next big overhaul down here is on the tip. So this kite typically had a very swept tip. Looking at a lot of the industry standard wave kites that are really well received in the industry, they have a lot of squareness to them. Turns out when you have a square tip, you can tip it forward more and you can kind of get more characteristics. You get a snappier turn. So squaring off the tip was an essential thing into making this perform really well in the waves. And then another final thing that I love here is the Synergy bridle system. So you can see here, we have the standard bridle system, but on the, what I call the LE3 or the third attachment down here, we can move the Bridle from a wave setting out to a free ride setting. Now you may be familiar.
I like how they did that too.
Yeah,
like,
it's easy. You just undo it, put it on.
Right.
And if you know anything about kites, you'll know that this is not a new invention, modifying the Bridle a little bit to get different feels. However, a lot of brands do 1-2 centimeters. Like, it makes a difference for sure. I know a little bit of movement up here on the bridles makes a big difference. My friend Ewan, who is the kite designer here, he went pretty aggressive. He went with almost like 4 or 5 centimeters here. So what that does is that gives us 2 very distinct feels in this kite, and it's something that makes it really adaptable to a wide variety of riders. So when we talk about free ride, quote, this anonymous or this ambiguous term that we use in our industry, what we're looking for is a kite that is going to deliver. Whether we want to do some kite surfing, we want to do some fun jumping, we want to do some riding with our friends, or we just want to be confident that our kite is going to deliver fun in and out of the water, and it's a little adaptable. And that kind of sums it up for me.
Bingo.
I'm really impressed. I haven't
Brandon,
flown this kite yet, and I'm really impressed.
It was our first session. We like yourself, myself, and Devin all had our first sessions.
Yeah, I mean,
on this
Devin
kite.
was like hour 0 at
It was
kiteboarding.
maybe half an hour into it, right? And it was great. It was, all of us were having a great time on it. So jump well, work well, you know, works well. I've ridden the surf a few times, super fun all around. So
yeah,
thanks
solid
for
contender for the line. Solid, like
great all around kite.
Yeah, we're really
interesting and definitely loving it.
Yeah.
So
you did a great job.
If you want to find out more about the Triad, give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000. Reach out online, realwatersports.com. See you guys on the water for the next session. High fives all around.